Joining us to talk to us about this is the Child Welfare South Africa Communications Officer, Petunia Parker. Thanks for joining us, Petunia. And appreciate your time. Look, we got an SMS yesterday from some of our listeners saying the police are not nannies. They're not really out there to protect our children when we're just not able to do that as parents. But you could hear the outrage from Diepsloot mothers saying they're calling for vigilante justice, the police not doing anything. Where do you stand on this issue? What's the responsibility of parents in protecting our children?
Yes, I will not stress enough that parents need to know where their children are. And rather be labeled a paranoid parent, than, and another thing, Tashan, I feel that it's the community's responsibility to make sure that we gauge like each and every child that is roaming around the streets. It should worry you, what happened to that Ubuntu principle that your child is also my child. It's not only supposed to be the parents, but then, in a community when you see your neighbor's child working with a man that you do not understand or you do not know, it's always advisable that you approach them safely and you ask the details where the parents are, if the parents are away, and also the child, because sometimes you'll find that looking at the ages of the two children in Diepsloot, they're very young, obviously, but chances could have been that had someone seen and approached that man, they could have easily said that they are not their fathers and so forth, Tashan. And another thing is, because right now we're approaching the festive season, there's so much movement in South Africa and from one province to the other. We need to be extra careful. I cannot stress that enough.
Look, what can we as parents do? So, obviously the stresses of our current life, we are forced to be mothers, parents, children. At the same time, we have to go to work and we have to, oblige by the stresses of our life. How do we deal with that while at the same time protecting our children?
Like I'm going to repeat it, Tashan. Know where your child is. Be paranoid about it. If you have placed your child in someone else's care, please make sure that you know that and you trust that they are responsible enough. And another thing, I'd advise parents to let children rather play in groups in someone else's yard, not on the streets, so that you know that the child, whoever that is in the house, of whatever adult is responsible. They are aware what is happening to the child, and when they disperse, rather whoever that's collecting the child, make the person in the house aware that I'm here to collect whoever child, because that is how we lose track. And another thing, during the week, let each and every child stay in school or in daycare, because for so many hours of the day that child is going to be safe. Even in our community schools right now, there's programs where children stay in school until around 4 o'clock, where they know they'll be given food, they'll be helped with homeless, like aftercare services, which and afterwards when they leave schools, they need to live in groups. They are not supposed to leave their groups. And mothers also, they need to know community resources in their communities. I'd always advise people to approach a social development or municipality officers, which will give you, whether it's for counseling and support groups for mothers who are working, or child minders and so forth. Know your communities, and I cannot stress. If I'm staying, whether in Katlehong or in Diepsloot, I already have an idea how my community is. And you already know that it is not a safe or how safe it is. So rather prevent, than reacting to a child that is lost, or worse, that whose life has been lost. I believe that it's not even a murder, but it's a massacre, because with one child only, it's a problem. But it's now 4 children. That's worse.